Hi guys, thanks for joining us for another episode of Trading Tales podcast here at Nordic Thunder. Today we're here with Tim Hutter, who is a full-time trader originally from Switzerland. So thanks for joining us, Tim. How are you?
Thanks for having me. I'm very good, and you? Thanks.
Yes, good. So where are you currently? I've seen that you're in Spain at the moment, but you seem to be kind of jet setting all over the place. So talk me a little bit about that. What's your plan at the moment?
Yes, so now I'm in Spain for a month or so with one of my best friends. And before I was in Switzerland visiting my family for 2 months because I haven't seen them before for 2 years because I've been living in Colombia and Mexico.
Oh, really?
And yeah,
Oh,
that's how I
wow.
do it. I usually stay in one place for a few weeks or months, and then I go to another place. And if I like it, I stay longer.
Nice. That is very nice. Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, I'm kind of around the place myself, but at the moment I'm kind of based in Spain, just because like I was saying before, the Brexit issues, blah blah blah. But yeah, that sounds amazing. So I've seen as well Switzerland. That looks absolutely incredible. I've drove through there a few times, and it's just insane. Like, what a place! What a place to be from.
It is beautiful, yeah. But then the weather is not like it's really tough to get through the winter. That's also why I left Switzerland because it's just the summer is so short and it rains so much.
Of
I mean,
course.
I didn't go during the best time now, but again, it was out of 60 days, it rained at like 50, 50, yeah, 56 days.
That's crazy, isn't it? Yeah. But that's essentially why I'm in Spain as well. Like me and my
Mhm.
wife, we were just like, you know what? Like if we're gonna go somewhere in Europe together, then we need to go somewhere it's just sunny because like the UK is awful.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
like even in the summer, it's literally pissing down every day. So yeah, I get like I get really sad like if I don't
Yeah,
see
me
the
too.
sunlight. So all right, we'll go from the start then. So talk us through like your younger self and when you started trading. Like what caught your eye? What turned your attention to trading? Did you have like a job previously, or did you turn 18 and just start trading? What was the crack?
No, I would say I started pretty late. Um, Only when like before Instagram, I was not aware that there's people making money online, that they travel and somehow make money from their phone. So I only discovered this once I had Instagram, and this inspired me obviously, but it was not trading right away. I just saw there's people making money online. I saw different ways. I saw it's like trading, e-commerce, influencers, all this stuff. So I decided I want to make money online, and trading was not the first thing. I,
Okay.
however, I started pretty right when Bitcoin came out. I was very interested in it because I'm kind of a geek or nerd. So I started mining Bitcoin very early without knowing what I'm doing, and then I went to Australia to learn English, and when I came back, I saw like how the how it went up, like the price. It was insane. Unfortunately, the cleaner threw away this. I had a small paper with the private key, and she threw it away, so I didn't have access to my bitcoins
Nice.
anymore.
Perfect. Thanks for
Yeah.
that.
But this was like the first time I was like I saw the potential of holding or trading these assets.
Right. Okay. That's interesting. Yeah, that's a new one. We've had these MLM schemes. We've had these stories before, but we haven't had someone that's gone through mining crypto yet. So that's really
Mhm.
interesting. What type of like trader would you say that you are? Would you say that you're like a scalper, intraday? Like sort of like concepts do you use?
So for crypto, I use like on
You
spot.
trade Bitcoin, right? I've seen that you've done a little bit of Bitcoin here and there. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I do swing trading with Bitcoin or altcoins, but
yeah,
just spot. I used to do futures, and now I just do spot, and I just buy on, let's say, a weekly low gets taken out, I just buy and then take profit at the next liquidity to the upside. Very simple. This is almost no time investment, you just need a lot of patience. And for
right.
me, it's not exciting enough because you need
Yeah.
so much patience. So with crypto, I do swing trading with Forex intraday.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I'll do a little bit of intraday, sort of like scalping. I just lost a trade actually. Feeling pretty sad now.
Yeah.
So I've seen that you're like quite heavily invested in like automation as well. I've done dabbled a little bit myself. We've built some systems that didn't really end up working that well. It is what it is. But will you say you're more focused on manual, or would you say that you're kind of more invested in the like EA side of things?
Um, to be honest, I have more money invested in automatic accounts or semi-automatic,
Okay,
but I really enjoy manual trading, even though it's really tough for the like mentally very tough.
it is.
But once you're in, you cannot get out. It's just
Yeah,
um,
no, seriously. So what we did, me and my friends, we had some like really nice strategies that were working quite well, and then what we were programming EAs, so we had some coders, and we programmed a couple of EAs, and it was close, but it wasn't really consistent enough. And then what we found is these systems, rigid systems, won't work over a long period of time. It has to be like a price action EA, because yeah, our systems with like a rigid stop loss and a rigid take profit, the market will just evolve over time and just go that extra bit further. And yeah, it was. But then we realized that we were kind of getting lost in the automation, and we were like, oh, I actually kind of miss manual trading a little bit, just being on the ball, just adapting to the conditions on that day. But what would you say is like the biggest money maker out of the three for yeah.
so for me, the biggest money maker is our PAM account, which is
Yeah.
semi-automatic. So it's manual traders on it, but also different algorithms, and then an AI or machine learning system.
Okay.
This is the most consistent.
Really?
But to be honest, most of my money I made it with crypto swing trades. Yeah. I wish it was Forex day trading because it's what I love the most. It's the most exciting, but it's not what made me the most money so far.
No.
And automation, it can really change a lot for a trader, but then also this is something I have discovered after doing millions of trades like in back tests, and I've tested hundreds of strategies. There's no strategy which just keeps performing well. Martingale is the only one, but eventually it blows. So price action strategies, they perform during certain times, it can perform amazing. And then comes a time where you just lose most of the profit that you made. And this is also how you get this average distribution curve where it just goes up and down. And then I have done a lot of backtests with the best strategies that I found. Over a 10-year period, you just see that on average, you're going to make 10, 20% per year. And that's also where I was always asking myself, how is it possible that a hedge fund only makes like 10, 20% per year? But over the long run, that's just what most of these systems can deliver, because they just lose most of the profits
Yeah.
during certain periods.
So when we've built systems, and you could run the back test with the tick data. So it's so disappointing when you see
Yeah.
it work for 3 years and then it just goes. Eh. So like also it was funny. I was like we've had a couple where you've just like clicked the strategy tester thing, and then it just goes like this, like all the way down. So we were like, why don't we just do the opposite? Because it literally goes straight down like that, straight to hell. It's like, okay, so if we just do the opposite, surely it'll go that way, right? But yeah, it doesn't really work like that.
No, it
So
doesn't.
yeah, so what with your manual trading, you mentioned that was that's your favorite. It's my favorite as well. I love it. It's just trying to just maintain that consistency and maybe not like get inside your head too much and destroy your whole week. So what concepts do you use with the manual? Is it something that you've kind of changed a few times, like myself, to suit your psychological needs, or what is it?
This is something that is ever evolving. I don't I have a couple of things that I always use that I think I'm not going to change, but overall, it's still a process. I'm improving and switching some things or making it simpler or whatever, but it's not, this is ever evolving. So, and the concepts that I use is liquidity, obviously. So, for like weekly highs and lows, daily highs and lows, 4 hours. I use these as liquidity, and I use some of the ICT stuff, but not. I mean, no one knows his actual strategy because the videos are
No,
just too long to know the strategy. But I use fair value gaps. Yes, I don't
yeah,
really use order blocks. The breaker block, that's something that I use.
I use
What I
that
use
as
the
well.
most is the FU candle. I have studied this candle.
The what candle? Sorry.
It's called, actually it's called, you need to make the beep noise then, but it's called fuck you candle or FU candle because
Oh, yeah.
it is the candle that when you have like it's price is close to reversing, it's in your zone, and then it prints a doji or a rejection candle, and you think now it's time for the reversal. But then comes this candle which opens up, it takes out the low, turns around, uh, breaks above and closes above the previous candle.
Do you know what? That sounds literally exactly what I do. We just look for liquidity reversals and just like a breaker, a reaction from that point. We look at how much stop losses and orders you think were there in the market, and a smash up, a smash down, kind of a breaker, and then we'll just jump in and try and get a 2-2-3 to 1.
Mhm.
It sounds very similar to what I'm doing, which is the best one, the best strategy I've had, and
Definitely.
I've tested, mate. I've tested some shit. I'm not gonna lie. There's been some crap I've seen, but we'll get into that in a little bit later. So like I've seen that on Instagram, you're very routine based, like with your gym and stuff. Like, how do you think that plays like a part with your trading? Do you think it plays a positive part, or
I think it's absolute key because I have ADHD, so I'm a messy person just by default, so I need a routine uh, that provides me with stability. So that's, for me, this is key. Also to be able to focus on something, it's just very beneficial for me if I go to the gym like 6 times per week. I really like being in this routine, and I think, no, if I feel it like if I travel, if I go to a new place, and I'm not in my routine yet, then trading usually is not not as good.
yeah, I've found that as well. When I'm not going to the gym like 4 or 5 times a week, then my trading is not as good. Need something to like take your mind off it. Definitely get off the charts as well. I think
Yeah, exactly.
just for a bit. Just get a breather. I used to find myself trying to force. When I first started,
Yeah, yeah.
just trying to squeeze a trade out like just like leave it. There's nothing there. So I've seen on social media as well that you do have like a little bit of community going on Discord. Which do you educate others as well? Is there like, do you have like a community you kind of take care of a little bit, or is there something you could tell us about that?
Yeah, I have a community, a Discord with like 4,200 members.
Oh
Um, Initially, I made this because I had this prop firm passing service during
yeah.
the golden times of the prop firms.
Oh, the HFT ones.
Oh yeah, it was a great time.
Yeah. Then they just start rug pulling like.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I made the community initially for, but then I just added some more channels. I added a crypto channel, or just trading channels, and people can
Okay.
just discuss. It's free to join. I don't. Yeah, it's also used as a support for. I have some services and products that offer. For example, the PAM account. They just ask questions there, but I don't have a mentorship right now. I don't offer coaching
Right. So it's
because,
just a free community and you just kind of help people out here and there, just and then you've got like a product list and then you just kind of offer support with that. Is that right?
yeah, exactly.
That sounds all right. That sounds cool. Yeah,
Because
usually like there's a like some sort of, it's usually a couple of grand for a course. That's what you see on Instagram usually, and it's usually like thousands for a RSI indicator moving average course. That's the standard one.
yeah, exactly.
Thankfully, I stayed well away from all that. But
Yeah, and regarding education, I'm like, I cannot. I think it's ethically wrong to sell it. Like the people that most people that offer education, they clearly oversell it because it's only about selling it. They don't care about the result, and I think it's ethically incorrect if you do this. And knowing like the success rate is going to be below 10%. That's why I don't do it.
Yeah,
If
no,
I have a system one day that where I get a success rate of like 60% or so for people that would join, I would offer it because it's going to benefit more people than it's not going to benefit
I
people.
get you. Yeah, that's 100%. That's yeah. It's nice that you actually think about that and think, well, it's not ethical because a lot of these guys they're pushing, pumping courses out, and people join and pay all this money and they don't really learn anything. Like and most of the stuff I've come across anyway is bullshit. Like
Yeah,
it
exactly.
is just stuff you can learn literally on YouTube for free. But yeah, it is what it is. This is just the nature of the industry, I guess. So I've just we've just brushed up upon the martingale there, where you were talking about like flawed algos. So I've come across hundreds and hundreds of these grid and martingale bots, and they literally do not work. They are always going to blow like at some point. So I seen that you talked about one in one of your videos on Instagram, and you said something like no, martingale bullshit. I was like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
the
Yeah, that's the thing. That's also something. If you're new in the Forex space, then eventually you're going to come across some ads on social media about a bot that just has a 77% win rate and this and that.
yeah.
And it happens to be always martingale. It's always the same system because it sells very well because initially when you put on a martingale bot, it's going to immediately make you profit.
Mm-hmm.
It's always like it's so quick at the
Yeah,
beginning, but then it always ends the same way because you always have floating drawdown and eventually it just gets too big.
it's too big.
Hmm. And
Yeah, and
I
what
guess
I don't
brokers
like
know
about
this.
it is like you've got to go double the drawdown to make like half the profits. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So shout out to the YouTube commenter, by the way, that wanted us to talk a little bit about grid and martingale. The wait is no more. But yes, if you're watching this episode, don't bother. They don't work. You're just going to be sat there waiting for the market to move that extra little bit in the wrong direction or just in the one direction, and it's finished. Your account's gone. Or you're going to be sitting in like 50% drawdown and you'll be hurting psychologically.
Yeah, exactly. I
So
have an example here.
yeah, go on.
So when sometimes people they ask me about the bot, is this a good bot? Or they say, oh, I saw someone pass this challenge with this bot, and yeah, I mean it can work for some time. But I always say people go on the MyFX book and check for the risk reward ratio in pips. I mean, I have now a bot as well that has a negative risk reward ratio in pips, but it has only one entry. So if it hits stop loss, it just hits stop loss. It doesn't open more positions. But if it's a system that opens more positions when price goes against you and the risk reward ratio in pips is negative, then this is like a guarantee that it's going to blow at some point in time.
Yeah, 100%. Like I think I tried one like a year or so ago, and it was just it was just one of those ones that I just thought, oh, let's just have a little go on that. Let's just buy that sort of thing. And got sucked in, standard. And it was like, oh, okay, so right, what I need to find is a pair that just ranges, which there's no pairs that just range, right? But so I was stuck on like Euro, British pound or something, and it's fairly rangy. And then I was like, right, okay, well I can make this work. So let's do it in Asia, just in Asia, so we can just get the ranging market. But sometimes in Asia, if it just flies off, so these systems will not work. You're just literally sitting there waiting for that moment.
Exactly.
And I've seen some bad ones on gold because gold, as we know, likes to move, and sometimes it will move like mental amounts. So yeah, these systems don't work, dude. I honestly hate them.
Me too.
Yeah. So what caught my attention to you actually, Tim, was when I was checking out your profile, I came across you through Carl Fox, is it? The Irish
Oh,
guy?
yeah.
He's a nutter. He is. He's funny.
Fucking
He's
legend.
such a good trader though as well. Like so I just seen that I came across him through you through him. And I noticed that you were speaking 5 different languages when you were explaining something about your robot, and I was like, I just kept clicking and it was a different language every time, and I was like, whoa, that was like super impressive. Where did you learn? Where did you learn? When did you learn that?
I just learned this all with traveling. So, I'm from Switzerland and my native language is Swiss German, but
Right.
only 4 million people speak this. And then we have a French speaking part, an Italian speaking part. So in school, we have to learn German because the Germans don't understand Swiss German. So first
Oh,
language we learn, Swiss German is the native language. German is what we have to learn first. And then we have to learn French in school.
right.
Then we have to learn English. But to be honest, I mean, I was good at the exams and stuff, but I was not able to have a conversation. It only started when I went to Australia to really learn English.
Ah, right. Okay.
And then I moved to Mexico. Was never the plan. It just happened in the pandemic, and there I
Oh,
started
yeah.
learning
Because
Spanish.
Mexico were like vamos, like they didn't care about the pandemic. They were just
Yeah,
like, ah, you
exactly.
can all just come here if you want.
It was the best place to be. It was such a good decision,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's how I
So
understand it.
So in your schools, then I know Switzerland has got like a great economy in the country. It's like well run and they're super rich, and it's all pristine. When I go to Switzerland, I see everything is just like there's no litter. Everyone just seems really happy, and it's like one of those like little paradises in the world. Do like the kids in school then like in with the languages, you all get taught like a million languages in school. Like what is that all about? We don't get that option in the UK. I think we got the option to learn French for 1 year when we were 15, and that's already too late. So what's
Yeah,
the
because
education system like there?
you need to think like this. If you speak English, you can speak with almost 50% of the population
Yeah,
on on the planet. But if you speak Swiss German, you can only speak to 4 million. That's nothing. So
yeah,
we just have to learn languages to be able to communicate with others because such a small country.
yeah. No, that's yes. I just find it mental how in the UK we don't get taught languages, and my wife's Spanish. She can speak like 2 or 3 languages, and I'm like, I'm trying to learn Spanish, and I'm getting there, but it's just I should have been doing this when I was a kid, like it's kind of too late now.
It's
My
hard.
brain,
It's possible. If you're forced to, like, I went to Colombia and then no one speaks English, so I really had to learn it. Then you're forced, never had a course or a teacher. I just used
yeah,
Translate and just kept
I feel like
speaking.
I feel like if you're in the place and you've got it all around you, surrounded by it, it speeds it up, the
Exactly.
process up. But obviously, if you're just learning on a book or on an app or something, and you're just away from it, it's going to take a little bit longer. So, did you go to university or college or something, or was it just like 18 start in the Bitcoin mining and
Oh no, no.
no?
No, I did the full Matrix program. I did
Oh,
it all.
the full matrix.
No, I did an apprenticeship as a chemical lab technician. I worked in research development, pharmaceutical industry. That's
Oh,
quite
nice.
big in Switzerland.
Nice.
And I did this for a while, and then I studied environmental engineering, thinking that this is gonna
Yeah.
bring me freedom and more money. And then I
Yeah.
worked for the Swiss government as an engineer.
Oh, you were full on
And
Matrix then.
yeah. And then I was in this office, and I thought, no, this cannot be true. Now,
No,
everything
no.
I did just to be in this office now.
Yeah, you wake up and you're just 50, like, where's my life gone? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
No way. That's not for me. Before this, I was like professional DJ, but obviously COVID destroyed that. Thanks for COVID. But yeah, I was like, I've always been about like, sort of freedom and stuff. Would you say that's your favorite part about being a trader, the freedom?
Oh yeah, definitely. The location and time freedom, definitely.
Okay, I think it is. You can just kind of go anywhere. Like I'm working from a computer currently, and it's like if I want to go somewhere, I kind of can. When my visa's sorted for Spain, I should be okay. But fucking Brexit, man, so annoying, so annoying. Would you say do you have like so when you wake up, right? Let's go to when you're on the charts. Do you have like a ritual or like I've had a lot of people talk about meditation. They like some other things. some religious people, they like pray. Like what would you say is your like ritual? Do you have any superstitions or rituals before you get on the charts?
No, not really. That's maybe something I can improve, because I see all these people with their day in life of a trader, get up at 5 a.m., have a
Yeah,
cold brew coffee, go to yoga, do the meditation, go for a run, all these things. I'm so different. I love trading in New York. If I'm in Colombia, I get up in the morning, I make my coffee, and just watch the charts and I wait for
yeah. No,
news to kick in.
I'm the same. I honestly, I just get up and have a coffee. But I see all these people. I don't know if they're being super legit about it. But they're like, you need to do this, like really motivational. I'm like, wow, like, but you go to the gym like flat out, don't you? So if like you go in between sessions, or you don't trade London, do you? Or
Oh, now it's a little different because now I'm in Europe. So I just go here. My routine is a little different. So I go to the gym at maybe 10 or 11 a.m. and then I'm back
okay.
on time, and then I just trade New York
Oh,
after
you
gym.
just that's nice. Yeah,
But in
nice.
Colombia, I would just get up in the morning, have my coffee, trade New York, then have a meal. Um, Maybe I didn't take a trade yet. Like I
Yeah,
have a break before the New York Stock Exchange open. And then at like 11 a.m. EST, I'm done. Go to the pool, and I go to the gym, um, all these things. But no, man, I'm done. Maybe I should try meditating. What I did for a while was like gratitude. I got up and first like wrote down what I'm grateful for.
I know that one. That's a good one actually.
Mhm.
That's a really good one. Like that one that I heard recently was like you're like everyone. We were sat at a bar the other week, and we were just like we were discussing, me and my friends, and we were like, we're actually richer than 90% of people in the world. We're not rich, but you know, we are richer than 90% of people in the world. Just us sitting here, like my girlfriend works in a hotel, and you know, that for me is a really nice one, because there's so much poverty and you know, there's so many like bad places in the world, and people are in really tough conditions, and
Yeah,
we're actually
exactly.
so lucky just to even be free and in a country that's like lets us do what we want. And you know what I mean? And that's a really good one, I think. The gratitude thing is great. I'm always like super grateful for what I have. I think that helps me.
Yeah, exactly. And if you don't do it, then life will teach you by like then something happens and you're like, why didn't I appreciate this before?
Yeah,
So I make sure I'm grateful every day
yeah, that's good. That's
and
good.
being conscious.
What qualities do you feel like help you as a trader?
Well, obviously patience,
Patience.
self-confidence. Like once you made a decision to enter trade, that you believe in this trade and you just, or at least you believe in your system, so you can
Yeah.
follow it. Then, how is this called in English? Like if you're honest with yourself.
Uh, transparent.
Yeah, so you can admit that you made a mistake and
Oh
just
yeah, yeah, yeah. Just
self-responsibility.
admitting you made a mistake. Yeah.
Self-responsibility, just taking responsibility for all the results you get, even though you cannot control everything, you take full responsibility for all your actions. Not
Yeah,
blaming anyone else. That's super important.
that's cool. That's cool. So what habits do you think that you have that help you like benefit? Like like habits. For example, like go into the gym regularly and stick into like a plan. Like, would you say that that is like something that helps you?
Yeah, definitely. Of course. The gym has changed my life. Um, and then also like having this routine, because it's all in the first few years, it's all about survival. So you need to make sure you survive as long as possible mentally and financially.
Mm.
And obviously, to financially survive, you need an income source, or you need, and also need to take care of the money management. And for the mental, uh, to survive mentally during all this time, you need a good routine to process all the losses, to deal with all this, to not go, like, not lose. I don't think you need a lot of motivation for trading, because it's more like an addiction. Once you're in, you cannot get out.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I was going to say this. I was always thinking, like, oh, am I going to be motivated? Mate, I'm straight out of bed at like 7 o'clock in the
Yeah.
morning. I've never been like that ever. My eyes are just like Literally. I want to talk to you. I've seen some of your videos and I was just laughing because they're quite funny. It's like quite a good sarcastic sense of humor. What is I seen the one you did with the worst crypto project that you've
Oh
ever
my
seen, and
God.
I was like laughing because you were like the guys like spelt the name wrong. So we're gonna turn this now to like strategy or indicator. What is the worst indicator or strategy you've ever seen or come across?
Okay, I have a few in mind, but there's one which sticks out. So I saw this video. I think it was even a podcast, and a guy from the US then revealed his strategy, which apparently made him flip like $200 into 50K. And then he showed the strategy. I was super excited, obviously,
Yeah.
because apparently he had the results. And the strategy was, as soon as you use the Bollinger Band, and as soon as you get a close outside the Bollinger Band, then you wait for one more close inside, and then you trade. Let's say it was on the upper end of the Bollinger Band, then you go short, and trade back to the moving average. And I back tested it, and it was just 10 out of 10 losses. And there were comments and people like, what the hell? How is this supposed to work? That's the worst strategy I've ever seen.
Just like straight away, just like what?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I've seen some bad ones. My buddy, right? My buddy, he always he does find some good stuff actually. But he was like last Christmas. He said, "Boys, I found this indicator." I was like, "Ah, here we go." So he's like, "It's this master candle, master candles. Have you heard of it? Have you heard of it?" I was like, no. So I was obviously getting excited. So I threw it on, and he's been putting in our WhatsApp group. He's been putting like 5-to-1 trades in every day. So we're like he's actually like murking it off, and so I plugged it in, and he's one of those ones that won't accept it if it's not working. You know what I mean? If you test something out, some of my mates, we should just put it in the bin. Next, we don't.
Mhm.
If you test it for 6 months, it doesn't work. That's the start. You need 6 months, And so I plugged this thing in, right, and it was just this little indicator, and all it does, it uses the high. So bad. It's so bad. It uses the high of the candle on the 5 minute. And then if there's 5 candles inside that, like the body and the wick inside it, it creates a little box. And then the next break you have, it flies off. So I tested it, and so I tested the month that he did, and it was profitable. Like I made like, I don't know, 25R or something in a month. I was like, okay, cool. I tested it like the other months, and I was like minus 25 each month. I was like, it just doesn't work. It was breaking out and then just reversing. I was like, Tim, mate, this doesn't work. And his name's Tim as well. So and he was just like, no, it does. And he just would not leave it alone. I was like, dude, you really need to put this to bed. This thing does not work. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Funny though, like, yeah, but that Bollinger Band one sounds great as well. So we'll go back to your trading style. I've seen that you don't avoid news, and you're very like kind of ridiculing people that kind of avoid news, which I used to do, but now I just let it play out with the news, because if it's going to work, it's going to work, right?
Yeah, so my opinion is just, I mean, look at the chart, and there's indicators which show you where the news releases were. And let's be honest, all the biggest moves, they get initiated with news, or they just happen during news. Obviously, it is risky to enter right before the news, but it doesn't make a lot of sense to close trades. Like, let's say you're in profit already. No, let's put it this way. News don't invalidate concepts. It just accelerates the movement.
Yeah.
And my best trades have all been news trades, probably. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I've basically, the last like year, I've just been I used to be like, oh, I'll close out because of news. I'll just let it go now. If the stop loss is obviously, if the stop loss is big enough and you've got enough room, like, I don't do like tiny, scalping trades on the news or stupid.
Yeah.
But like it's just let it go, because it's just going to accelerate it. Like most of the time, anyways, the markets won't even move to the news. So it's you just be waiting there. So like with this industry, I think we can both probably agree it's a bit of a minefield with, you know, getting the right information. Did you have trouble yourself getting the right information, or was you able to kind of suss it out like quite quickly?
No, I think it took me ages. It took me longer than it should have. Probably that's also because the way I did it, because I'm like, okay, if someone can do it, I can do it too. No matter how long it's going to take me, I'm going to figure it out somehow. And if someone tells me this is not going to work, you're going to lose money, I'm like, maybe I need to feel it though, until I really believe it. So I had to make all these mistakes that everyone already told me it's not going to work, like trading without stop loss and stuff. I had to blow some accounts to accept, okay, you need a stop loss.
I've seen those memes that you know, like trading with no stop loss, and it's just like this guy just like
yeah.
But yeah, that it is kind of like a trial and error period, I would say.
Of course. And there's obviously there's a lot of bullshit out there, but also there's a lot of really good content out there. The problem is just that a lot of YouTube content is more for the views, for the clickbait. It's more, they run it like a business. They just want a lot of views so they can monetize the channel. And it's not so, it's more about hype than education, but there's some smaller channels with really great education. What helps me a lot is, or has helped me a lot, is some live streamers. For example, Don Vo. I mean, he trades so different than what everyone else teaches, but at least he's trading live, because there's not many people trading live.
That is exactly what I found. So to be honest, right, getting legit people who actually trade and actually make money from trading is quite difficult to get on this podcast. So I'm like very like, if I know someone, if I feel like I'm pretty sure someone's legit or know someone's legit, I want to get them on the podcast. Mate, it's so difficult. Like I'm like, he's not legit. I just know, you know, from just scoping them out, just from years of experience of scoping these people out. I just know. So I had a guy called Chris on here like 2-3 weeks ago, and he trades live with his community, and he doesn't make crazy gains. He makes like maybe 3, 4, 5% a month. But then some months he'll make -1 or +2, you know, but it's realistic. And this is what realistic trading is. But he trades live with his community. So he will literally show you the trade. And I'm like, that is what you want to find. If you were a beginner trader, you need to find something like that. If I could have told myself, you know, when I first started, you need to find someone that trades live, that would be the best piece of advice from me anyway.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, there's just a lot of people that they obviously only show the good stuff. They show their 10R trades, but they don't show, like, I've seen people like we have this PAM account, you know, and then sometimes people apply, they want to trade for the PAM. I have these people on Instagram, and then I see like, SMC trader, ICT trader, and like this whole tribe and whatever. And then I see them here flexing 1 to 20 intraday and stuff. And then I see them actually trade, like doing the evaluation. I see, man, yeah, maybe in trading view it's a 1 to 20, but you took partials at a 1 to 1, 1 to 2. So if this is, and then you had like 3 losses before yours, you have a profit factor of like 1.2.
Yeah, dude, honestly, right? That thing got me when I was doing the ICT before. I think there is some good things in IT. I just took a couple of things from it. But what I got taught before was take partials at 20 pips and take impartials at like 30 pips. And then I was like, but now my risk to reward ratio is buggered up. So if I lose, I'm losing. Like if I lose 20 pips, I'm not, you know what I mean? So I'm like, what is this taking partials all about? I literally just leave it now. I literally put the trade on, stop loss there. I barely move the stop loss up now. It either goes to 3 to 1 or hits my stop loss. And the profit factor is way higher than what I was before. But yeah, just got sucked into it, I guess. Taking partials for me is like, I don't know. It's not
That's interesting. You don't take partials at all?
No. I use the volume in the London session. I
Mhm.
use kind of like a silver bullet where but liquidity points and just reactions with the DAX, only the DAX. And I literally just wait for a nice 15-minute close and just let it run on for the day. And it usually goes into New York and maybe smacks around one, maybe a little bit longer, and then I'm out. I just use the length of the day. And the DAX is
Oh
one of
yeah.
those ones that literally it when it goes, it just goes in one direction. There's no bullshit like US 30 or gold. It just goes
I need to check
straight.
this out. I never looked at
Mate,
that.
trust me, I was like, this is great. This is really great. Like the DAX is literally the best in my opinion. I can't believe I haven't found it before. But like I said, we've done like about 15R in about 8 weeks, which is it's not bad. We're only risking like 0.5% per trade.
Yeah, but
So
that's really good.
yeah. So yeah, it's like it's really straightforward. I can show you. It's just really straightforward. It's like, but yeah, I definitely check the DAX out. It's just super nice. No manipulation really, and yeah, flows nicely. So yeah, talk to me about like what's your favorite type of instrument to trade? Like, would you say it's what's like the most profitable, the most consistent? Would you say it's a mixed bag? Would it be metals indices or futures? What?
For me, definitely gold. That's my favorite, all-time favorite.
I hate gold.
Yeah, it's horrible, but it just moves. It moves a lot, and there's some. I mean, obviously, I have also my losing streaks with gold, and it's just insane, like how much it moves. Sometimes there was a 1,000 pip dump in one day, like Friday, a week ago.
Last
That's
Friday,
just
yeah.
insane. But then also I had some really big swings with gold. I also like indices because the problem is with gold, gold can move like crazy during Asia sometimes. And it
Yeah.
happens to move a lot when I'm always when I'm away from the chart. So gold just consumes so much time because it can move in every session. And it made all-time highs at like at Asia start and stuff like this. So that's a problem. I like indices because there the trading time is so clear. For example, it's just 9:30 to 11 or so for Nasdaq and
Yeah.
US 30. I also like the last hour of the day with the indices.
Yeah. You get that
And
late afternoon kind of push, don't you? Like sort of around 2:30. Sorry, yeah, my time around about 3 p.m. GMT. You get that kind of last hour where it kind of kicks into gear again.
yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
also what I like. Other than this, I'm not a big fan of currencies because they can move at like through all the sessions and they don't move so much.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's a little bit like sometimes I used to trade like EU. And yeah, basically I just kind of had to stop trading Mondays because it just wouldn't move. Like
yeah, exactly.
and then it's always a bank holiday, which means it doesn't move again. So I'm literally just sat there like, what's the point in this? Literally, you might as well delete Monday and just start on Tuesday.
Yeah,
So
honestly.
yeah, it's just like hurry up. But yeah, I quite like the DAX, like I said, because it's quick, but it's not that quick.
Mhm.
It's not like psycho shit like US 30. Do you trade US 30?
Yeah, I do.
Oh mate, I don't know how you do that. It literally,
It's wild, yeah. But
it's
sometimes US 30 gives some nice setups. I have, I have different setups and strategies. US 30 can be really nice if it's quite slow during London and it's in a range and makes like a build up and it has already manipulated to the downside and like I'm anticipating that it's going to break out to the upside and
okay.
you have really small candles.
Right.
Then sometimes I get one of these FU candles,
Yeah.
very have a very tight stop loss, and from there it just runs and runs. And this is like when I enter before New York Stock Exchange open, and then when I'm right and the volume kicks in, then the risk reward ratio is so high. But trading, like entering during the New York Stock Exchange open, that's a mess, obviously.
Yeah, dude. That like I remember I used to be in this kind of like Telegram group with a decent community. Really, it was smart money, but and it used to be like when it opened, it would be like US30 buy. It's like, what? Like signals. I would never take it. I'd be like, no way. I'll wait for a nice GU one or something. So what would you say is like the hardest part about trading? Like, I would say personally psychology.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Would you say that as well?
Psychology, then nowadays with social media, that you always compare yourself to other people, and these people only show their wins, so it makes you feel worthless. It makes you feel like a really bad trader. In general, there's like false expectations that you have towards trading, and then just being able to accept the fact that there's going to be months where you either don't get a valid setup and you're not going to trade, but because you're a trader and it's almost impossible to not trade, you're just going to have losing streaks during this time.
Of course, it's like what we used to do is try to, like, when we were finalizing strategy, there's going to be 1 or 2 months on the back test even where it's just not smacking as much, and try to identify when those periods are. It's pretty much impossible.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? You've just got to kind of take a few losses and then go, right, okay, I'll sit out for a minute, wait for it to come out of this range or whatever it is. And that's the one that really hurts me if I do go on. It's when the market's just ranging. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
it's just not. But could martingale it and make some. Yeah. So, what do you do in your spare time? What do you do? Say if you had a losing streak, going back to that, what would you do to take your mind off it and just make yourself feel a little bit better?
Yeah, then I obviously go to the gym. That's what really helps me. Like every time I had a loss, I go to the gym anyways, but I have the best workouts after I had a loss, or especially stupid loss. If I did something, if I broke a rule, I just go, I go to the pool, I swim, it calms me down, and I go to the gym and let out all the anger about myself,
just
about
like,
my.
you don't. I've seen you do like gymnastics as well.
Yes, but I've never done it professionally.
I was gonna say, I just seen you doing loads of flips and shit. I'm like, what?
Yeah, one day I saw a guy doing like handstand push-ups, and I was like, I want to learn this. So I just started right away in this day. Every day I practiced, and then I saw backflip. I was already 24, so I was like, oh, I want to learn a backflip. And so I just watched videos and just tried and tried.
Yeah, I will learn this. Can you remember like a loss that kind of particularly in particular that like really upset you? Like you were like, oh, that one hurt me. That one hurt me a lot.
Many, and they always had the exact same. It was the same pattern, like how it happened. So that's what it was. Most of the time, it was gold, selling off, just dumping, and I knew it has to go long because on Friday is NFP, so there must be an entry probably at the end of the week, and it just dumped much more than I expected. So I took some losses.
Yeah.
Like you have these zones, you have the fair value gaps, you have the order blocks, you have the support resistance, all these zones. There's always a reaction, and you think now it's gonna reverse.
Yeah.
And then I just took like 5 losses or so
Oof.
already, and then, but I still believe in the buy, but I'm
hurt then.
exactly. And then on Friday it's NFP, and I don't have so much confidence anymore because I've already lost like 5 trades during the week, and I don't want to risk too much. And then it's actually this buy, the final manipulation, and it just pumped. And it happened to me.
That is, isn't it? When you get hurt and you lose a little bit of confidence, and then you alter the risk. I used to do that, and then I was like, oh, I won't risk so much this time, and then it would fly. You're like, oh, just fuck off.
Exactly. So honestly, I have missed every major move on gold, even though I have called every major top and bottom, but just because I was every time too early, because I wanted to get this big trade, this big swing. Was preparing myself, was just too early, lost too much on the way, so I didn't risk enough on the last shot, and then I didn't hold it long enough because I wanted to get my money back. But these would have been several thousand pip trades,
Yeah.
These are the ones that hurt the most.
Yeah, definitely. It's ones that you kind of just like, I missed that one because I was damaged.
Yeah, there was also one, CAD CHF, is a currency pair. which I like sometimes because it has this the Canadian dollar obviously has higher interest rate than Swiss franc. So if you
Right.
hold this, you earn swap fees.
Right. Yeah.
So then I was like, okay, so then it must be long, because if, how can I say it? Like the interest rate differential
Yeah.
determines the long-term bias.
Right. Okay.
The CAD CHF, it was just going short and short and short, and it took out the weekly low or monthly low, and then I was like, I need to step in. So I deposited just 10K into an account. I wanted to risk the entire 10K on this trade, just added more.
Nice.
I wanted to flip this account, and it looked so well, and I was patient, and it was not time sensitive because I was not paying swap fees, because swap fees can literally drain your account.
Yeah.
But I was earning swaps, and then I was already up $18,000 or so, and then it came back down. It wicked me out on Christmas, 26th of December. It was
Christmas Day, like.
I was alone away from my family on Christmas, and I got fucking liquidated. And then next week, it just kept pumping for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Yeah, no way on Christmas like as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that is great, man. Oh, what the fuck? Yeah, that's mental. So did you ever think, like, in the industry, you might stop? Did you ever, like, say, I mean, I personally had it where I went full time and then I went on a mental losing streak, and I was like, wow, I just moved into it full time and I was doing really well, trading really consistently for like 6, 7, 8 months. And then all of a sudden I just lost like 17 trades in a row. I was like, oh, great. Now I haven't got no income. So that was great. But did you, so then I was like, oof, I was thinking about quitting. Did you ever have like one of those moments where you thought, oh, I might stop?
Yeah, I had many moments where I thought about quitting, because it's just very unhealthy sometimes, especially for relationships. I mean, you have a girlfriend. I didn't manage to have any healthy relationships
Bro,
ever since
yeah.
I went full time trading. It's really bad for relationships because your attention is just most of the time in trading, and if you have a win, you feel like the king, and if you have a loss, your self-confidence is down. It just affects so many areas of your life, but then again, it just fuels with so much energy. I
Yeah.
mean, I thought about it a couple of times, but it's just no option. I'm too stubborn.
Yeah, not an option. You don't seem like the type of person that's going to, like, give up and quit.
No, never.
So if I do something, I usually get to the bottom of it, whatever it is. So yeah, what about your biggest win? We've had your nearly biggest win and that hurtful Christmas Day loss or Boxing Day loss. What was your biggest win? Can you recall, and your biggest withdrawal? And how did you feel after that? Was one of the moments where you're like, wow, that was absolutely insane?
Yeah, I had a couple of them. So it's funny and sad stories at the same time. So I have three. So one time I turned like $1,000 into 40K with this was a shit coin, but I got hacked and my wallet got drained, so I lost these 40 grand. They got stolen.
No way.
Obviously my mistake, because I probably clicked somewhere, so they affected the wallet. Then I made on a prop firm one time. I just wanted to try selling 100 lots during NFP.
Yeah.
On
Just
gold.
go
I
for it.
just wanted to do it. I lost 14K on the first trade, and tried again with 50 lots, and it was a banger. I just made like 38K in minutes. But then this withdrawal got rejected, so it was a 48K payout. I think they rejected it.
Rejected it because of the news.
No, they just said, "Oh no, copy trading." Yeah.
No way. Oh my god, that's killer.
Yeah,
Oh,
so my biggest wins, they haven't been on, or withdrawals, they're not from prop firms, than from personal accounts.
what firm was that? Do you mind that? Do you mind? We'll bleep it out.
Yeah, now things are clear. It was I stacked up some payouts, like there 2K, here 3K, here 1K. I just stacked them up, like 30,000 or so, and I put them all into Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin pumped, and then I just recently closed. That was, I think, in March or so. March probably. I just closed the trade, $120,000, and just I withdrew it just to my wallet. But
That's
so
sick.
that's my biggest trade so far. Yeah.
That's a nice one. That is that's like kind of, would you say that was your one where you're like, right, I'm really killing this now? That's when you thought I could really make a decent living out of this.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I knew this before already. But yeah, that was a great moment when I just saw like 120K. I never had 120K before in a single account.
Yeah. That's a lot. That's a lot. I mean, that's like 3 years salary for most people or more.
Yeah, but in trading you just completely lose any like the relation, like the value of the money, because you could just blow, like you know how fast you can blow it.
Oh yeah, 100%. It can go. Like I've personally never used my own personal funds. Just
never.
I think I did actually know that. Do tell a lie. I think I put like £750 in my first like 2 weeks of trading. I won like 3 trades and thought, here we go. I've got this. Got trend lines, like and then all of a sudden it's all gone. So if you weren't a trader, what do you think you'd be growing up?
Say this again.
If you weren't a trader, like what do you think? What did you want to be growing up? What would you be if you weren't a trader?
Logically, what would I do? I'd just be an entrepreneur. Yeah.
And you were working with the government, so I guess you'd be in the office, right, or something like that.
Like this? No. Okay. If it wasn't for this journey, yeah, obviously I would just be an engineer in an office, unhappy.
Yeah.
And if I wouldn't have discovered trading, I would be doing probably e-commerce or something like this.
Yeah.
But I was destined to break out of the matrix and do my own thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've never been about that 9 to 5 lifestyle, dude. It's just not. It's not
my vibe.
Not for me. So, if you had to describe your trading style in 3 words, what would they be? The manual on gold, for example.
Okay. 3 words. That's a really hard one. On gold, I either do the liquidity reversal or I trade breakouts above the VWAP. I call it
the VWAP. What's that?
Volume weighted average price. And I have discovered then that when gold or any asset trades clearly above it, then it goes, how can I say it? The higher something goes, the faster it goes, and the more flat the pullbacks are. I call this perma long because it just goes permanently long. It just literally explodes to the upside. That's I trade this.
That's interesting. So we'll go into crypto a little bit. Do you have what projects do you like? Do you have your eye on anything like long term? And we've talked about the shit coins, and you said something to me about buying the pullback of this one, and it was just like literally the instant dump. One of my mates is just he's full-time crypto trading, but full-time meme coin trading, and he's made a living out of it. So he tells me what to do. I have no idea when it comes to crypto, to be honest, mate. He just tells me to do things, and I'm like, yep, cool. So he's in this one called Climber, and I think it was like 10 times or something on the weekend, and I think what my other buddy was like, dude, you need to like get like half your money out now, like, and he just didn't listen, and now it's gone down to like 2 times or something. So
yeah, that's a classic. This happens all the time.
But yeah, do you have your eye on anything? Like, is there any particular projects you like, shit coins, or like actual crypto, like Bitcoin and stuff like that? Do you have any investments in that?
I mean, I closed most of my Bitcoin longs. I'm holding some other altcoins. I have some gaming coins, some AI coins and stuff. But to be honest, I don't believe in any of these projects. I believe it's all a Ponzi. It's worthless and it's all hype driven. I'm never in these Telegram chats. Like, it's ridiculous. They're just hoping for a pump. We're all in this together, guys. And just hoping for a pump. I'm not doing this. I think you have a big advantage if you trade Forex and you go to the crypto market with your technical analysis skills, you have a big advantage. So I just, in crypto, I don't care. I never go to the website. I don't check the project. I just believe in purely technical analysis. I believe if a
Right.
weekly low is taken out, there's going to be a reaction.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's mad because that's literally what I do as well. Do you know Bitcoin actually when it's in a bullish run, it's so easy to trade. Like the
Yes.
like fair value gaps and stuff like that. It just literally the imbalance. It just bounces clean off it all the time. It just goes boom, boom. And you know what I've noticed as well? People past prop firms. There's a couple of traders that come in only when there's bullish markets, and I'm looking at the system, and I'm like, whoa, these guys are so they're all using the Bitcoin volume to pass the challenges, and it's quite clever. I thought.
Oh.
Before we get into the last part, do you have any funny or embarrassing moment from your early days jumping into this industry? Like I always save my markups from my early days, and it's just like lines everywhere, like do you have anything similar to that where you have a story like, oh, why did I do that?
Oh, many. Where did I start? I don't have something very specific except for all these stupid losses where I blew accounts and stuff.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
maybe my martingale time because
you went straight into the gauntlet there with accounts and just like max leverage and
yeah,
pretty
and
impressive.
no, I started also with martingale back in the days. I
Yeah,
thought, now I found it. I have a money printing machine.
yeah.
And I was actually living off this spot for a while. I could
Yeah,
withdraw money daily. I just had two 10K accounts
okay.
and like personal funds. And I was withdrawing money daily. And then there was a time, if the market was so rangy, I could increase the risk. And was making sometimes $500, which is 5% per account. So
Yeah,
1K per day. And I thought I was on top of the world.
that was decent.
I thought, now
But
I'm not going to spend so much money. I'm not going to spend 1K per day. So like this, I can grow my account. I withdraw daily. Bought some new stuff with the bought profits, and then I went on a trip in a very remote location, and I got sick when I arrived, and I was sleeping with fever. Next day, I woke up, and I just saw both accounts gone, just blown.
oh, just killer, like killer. What was the pair? Was it gold or?
It was NZD CHF, and this was in the pandemic in
Oh,
New Zealand.
that's quite a rangy kind of pair. So I guess that would
Yeah,
work
but
for a bit.
they announced they had one COVID case, and because of this, they announced a nationwide lockdown, and this just
Oh,
made
yeah,
it pump so hard, and it was just all gone, liquidated.
yeah, all gone. See you later. That's it. Was try again next time. So,
Yeah.
what would you say now? Last couple of questions. What would you say the common mistake you see beginner traders make, and how would you say you avoid it? Now, I've had some people come on before and say like get a mentor, someone that trades live. But what would you see the biggest mistake for beginner traders is?
Biggest mistake is having false expectations, following the flashy people, the Gucci. Just like if someone's flexing Gucci and Lambo and all this stuff and sells a course, why would you want to join this course? He's not here to help. He's here to sell and make money off you. So just stay away from these flashy guys. And I mean, a mentor can really help, but I think a real mentor is one that you have to approach and you have to ask if he's going to show you some stuff. Mentors are not the ones flexing Gucci and Balenciaga.
No,
It's
they're not. They're
because they're
not.
going to give you false expectations and stuff. So that's
Yeah,
a big mistake.
they're just
False
not the.
expectations.
They're just not the guys. I sussed that out after about. It took me a while to be fair, like 6 months. I was like, oh yeah, these guys are just like no. So what pair? If you were a beginner now, and say you're giving some advice to someone just starting, what forex pair would you recommend someone to trade to learn? Basic market structure. Things like that. The foundations of trading.
Yeah, if it has to be a forex pair, probably EU or GU.
EU or GU, yeah, I think that's pretty. I think I started on NZD USD. It's just
Yeah.
like it's just really slow, and like it just doesn't really, it doesn't really take the piss if that makes sense. So what like lastly, what do you envision for yourself in the future, and where do you think you can improve?
Oh, one more thing. Actually, I have to change my previous answer. I would go
Yeah, go on.
for a pair that has an interest rate differential that makes that generates a clear trend. For example, USD JPY. The USD has such a high the interest rate on the USD is so much higher than on the JPY that this pair is just fundamentally long. So you can always look for longs, and it's easier for beginners when they just know, okay, they're only going to look for longs,
Right.
because it's a long-term trend until the interest rate changes. So it's
Right.
going to
Okay.
help a lot.
That's very interesting. I've never heard anyone say that before. Obviously, if you find a trend and that's you're literally putting yourself in such a good position already. You just need to find a nice entry and let it run. So that is a very interesting way of looking at that. Actually, I've never even thought of that.
I mean, look at Carl. What Carl does. Carl, he always buys GJ. GJ is fundamentally.
He's just buying GJ.
Yeah, because it's just fundamentally long because of the interest rate differential.
Yeah, that's mad. That is mad. I didn't even think of that. It's crazy. So yeah, what would you say is you envision for your future of trading, and where do you think you could improve?
Okay, my goal is to make 100K per month consistently. I think that's when you make 100K per month, you can cover all your expenses, you can invest in real estate, you can help your family. So that's my goal, and I think it's absolutely possible. It just takes way longer than expected.
Yeah.
I can improve by lowering my trade frequency, documenting more. Like my goal is to just take 1 or 2 trades per day and then just step away.
Yeah. I think there's enough, isn't it? Like 1 or 2
Yeah.
trades a day. I don't think you need more than that, really.
Letting-
100K a month. You said, "Oh, that'll probably cover my expenses." I'm pretty sure that would cover that would cover my expenses definitely. So yeah, definitely in living in Spain as well, that would definitely cover my expenses. So before we end, we're just going to play a quick game, some quick fire questions. I'll give you 2 options, and it's like this or that, which you prefer. We kind of just make this into a little bit of a reel. So if you had to choose, just say this or the other, right? So Asia or London?
London.
London or New York?
New York.
Intraday trading or swing trading?
Intraday.
Intraday trading or scalping?
Intraday trading.
Technical or fundamental analysis?
Technical analysis.
Trading with news or without news?
With news.
Okay. Bull market or bear market?
Bull market.
Everyone always says that. I don't get why either.
It's easier to buy than to sell.
Yeah, I don't know. But sometimes people, I remember I used to only see sells. That's why I had to do the inverse thing on TradingView. It's pretty weird. Stocks or forex?
Forex.
High risk trades or low risk trades?
High risk trade.
I knew you was going to say that. Long positions or short positions?
Long positions all the way.
Automated trading or manual trading?
Manual trading.
Indicators or price action?
Price action.
Early morning trading or late night trading?
Early morning trading.
Trading with news or trading the charts? I've already asked that one, kind of.
Trading the chart.
Profit targets or trailing stops?
Profit targets.
Fibonacci retracements or moving out average?
Moving average.
Breakout strategies or reversal?
Breakout.
Candlestick patterns or bar charts?
Candlestick patterns.
Risk reward ratio or win rate?
Well, both together. For me now, win rate.
Win rate. Support and resistance lines or trend lines?
Actually, trend lines.
That's a bad one. Fundamental news or economic indicators?
Fundamental news.
Trading on desktop or trading on mobile?
Trading on desktop.
Crypto trading or traditional markets?
Crypto.
Okay. All right. So that was episode number 8, guys, with Tim Hutter. You can follow him on Instagram. He'll be tagged below if you'd like to see what he gets up to in the day-to-day. Check out his methods. Thanks for coming on, Tim, and sharing your knowledge. Thanks for everyone for tuning in.
Thank you so much for having me. And I would really appreciate it if we maybe in a year or two can make another one and then see how we have developed in the meantime.
Yeah, we can definitely do that, mate.